Hello everyone. Today I'll talk about democracy. So what is democracy? It simply means the rule of the people, where the people elect their leaders themselves. Not only elections are held freely and fairly, but in a proper democracy, the will of the people is always respected along with the availability of basic human rights such as freedom of expression. There must be mutual and proper understanding between political parties in a proper democracy. The parties or the leaders are meant to be working for the cause of the country rather than an own personal benefit. Let's have an example. Today, there are two superpowers globally, the United States of America and the People's Republic of China. In the US, elections are freely conducted. The government is elected by the people, where the people gain equal rights or representation generally. Meanwhile, China is a fully dictatorial authoritarian country where there is only a single party ruling the whole country. The US is a beacon of democracy. Meanwhile, China is vice versa. These two countries have completely different takes on democracy, and their effects are also clearly visible. The GDP per capita, which could also be considered the average income earned by a normal citizen within a country's border, is $65,297 in the United States. On the other hand, the authoritarian China has a GDP per capita of $10,261. Now, I'm not trying to say that democracy means wealth. The thing I'm trying to say is that when there is proper democracy, it surely contributes to the well being and earning of a normal man. Similarly, in the United States, you can freely criticize the government on almost any affair without being scared of being persecuted. However, in China, if you try to raise voice against the government or the Chinese Communist Party, you will directly be punished. That's for sure. Take the richest man in China, billionaire Jack Ma, for example. He disappeared for several months after he decided to criticize the Chinese government.
The billionaire founder of China's giant online retailer Alibaba has not been seen in public since October when he blasted Chinese regulators in a speech that drew fire from China's leaders.
The press in China. It's also owned by the Communist Party, meaning that rather than showing the flaws of the nation, the press in China acts as a puppet to mislead the normal person of China.
Chinese propaganda, it's not just for Chinese people anymore. The Chinese
Again, human rights are common and inseparable part of the democratic nations like the United States, France, or Japan. However, there is literally no respect for human rights in the dictatorial, non-democratic nations like Belarus, North Korea, the People's Republic of China. For example, the Uyghur Muslims of Xinjiang province, China. Many of you might not even have heard about them because the government of China doesn't want you to know about the Uyghur Muslims. The Uyghur Muslims are tortured. They are brainwashed in the concentration camps of China. And the reason? The reason you may ask. The reason is simple. Because they are Muslims. And the people of China, they can do nothing but watch their fellow brothers being brainwashed in some isolated camp. Now imagine if this thing happened in the United Kingdom. It's a democratic nation and people would immediately raise voices if any of the fellow citizens' right is violated. If the fate of millions of people is tied within some finger countable politicians, the common sons of the nation will obviously suffer. High corruption, bad political decisions, extravagant expenditure on sectors such as military, and many worse decisions or situations would eventually lead to the downfall of a dictatorial nation. Just have a look at the Freedom Index, which is prepared based on the following aspects, which you may see on your screen. Now compare this Freedom Index with the Democratic Index. As you can see, the more democratic the nation is, the more freedom and rights its citizens could enjoy. However, I'm also not trying to say that democracy is always better. But keep in mind that a healthy democracy is of the people, by the people, and for the people, as President Abraham Lincoln once said. Lastly, what is the meaning of that wealth? If some so called dictators enjoy all of it, while the majority of the population even struggles to feed themselves with a single piece of bread. What is the meaning of a strong military? If the people in whom have a broken will, what is the meaning if the whole world pretends to respect your country? But the citizens of your own country don't even care about those shining armored tanks. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave the question to you. Until then, farewell. Have a great day ahead.